In today's world of high-speed connection, text messaging, and social networking, we often find ourselves searching for information. There are millions of blogs on the internet: news, sports, politics, and tech. But I bring it all together for you and present it in a relentlessly unconventional fashion. My name is Zenny Abraham, and this is the Blog Report. It's time now for politics. Hi everyone. For roughly 15 years, there has been a legal battle between the oil company Chevron and a representative of an organization called the Amazon Defense Coalition, Steve Donziger. Here's the latest news. First of all, Ecuador, a country that's roughly the size of Colorado with about 13 million people, has as its primary export oil. About 100 U.S. companies do business in that part of the world, including up until 1992 Chevron. Now, Steve Donziger, an attorney with a firm Conn, Grafton, Swift, has spent 15 years trying to prove that Chevron didn't clean up its environmental damage left over. Chevron claims that it did and spent $40 million to do so. There are many countries and many companies that do business in Ecuador even to this day. Chevron's not one of them. But that didn't stop Donziger and hasn't stopped him to this point. The latest news is this. First, Ecuador has embarked on a mission of trying to tax oil companies that are in operation there, including companies from Canada and the European Union. It hasn't mentioned Chevron in this issue. Second, a pipeline that ruptured in February and spilled roughly 14,000 gallons was blamed on Chevron, even though Chevron doesn't own the pipeline, and the actual owner of the pipeline is the state-run oil company Petroecuador. And in the latest developments, blogger Bob McCarty of Oklahoma has done a lot of digging on the matter of the involvement of Chevron in Ecuador and all the parties that even are remotely involved in this drama, and has determined that the Amazon Defense Coalition, the organization that represents the case against Chevron, the court case against Chevron we've been talking about, led by Donziger, has paid $207,000 to the economist Richard Cabrera, the same economist that first developed the estimate that Chevron would owe $16 billion in environmental damages to Ecuador should the court decision come out in Ecuador's favor, and then up that estimate to $27 billion. Anyway, the coalition paid $207,000 to that economist, who had been trumpeted out as the court-appointed economist and unbiased source, supposedly, who now arguably is not an unbiased source, and he is a biased source. Karen Hinton, who is the PR person, an excellent PR person for the Amazon Defense Coalition, says that it's common practice for courts to pay the economist or the expert witness. And that's true in the case of America, but it's not like this. What happens, folks, is that you have a plaintiff who will have their expert witness they paid, and then the defense will have their expert witness that they paid. But it's not common practice for a court to have an expert one side, in this case the plaintiff. So that's weird. Now, the final invoice, according to McCarty, who I asked to be interviewed for this segment but didn't want to be seen on camera, has said that the final invoice of $43,000 has been submitted to the Amazon Defense Coalition by Cabrera. And McCarty speculates that now that this is all out in the open, he may not get paid that last amount. That's interesting. Now, the question is this: why didn't Chevron pay the economist? Because according to Ken Robertson of Chevron, again through Bob McCarty's blog, well, Chevron didn't think he was credible. They said they wouldn't pay a dime to him at all. In fact, it's very difficult to find any information regarding the background of Richard Cabrera. Very difficult. That's where we stand right now, and the trial is projected to go on, at least the pre-trial machinations until we get to the trial itself, through the end of the year. It's going to be interesting. Stay tuned.